Hello, Professor Durisin.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. My first question is, how did you find the talk? Did you enjoy it? Were you anxious before you went out on stage?
Well, it was a very personal talk, so normally I'm quite confident going on and talking about the topics that I normally teach in my sessions. Here, because I gave away something about not concepts, constructs, and body of knowledge that management science has built up, but I gave away something about very personal about me and my thoughts, and my considerations of life. Yes, it was a very particular moment for me.
You said that education equals edu-action.
Yes.
So how do you inspire action in your students? How do you motivate them to show their full potential?
Well, it's something I'm always still struggling with, so I'm not saying I have any particular fundamental solution to it. I hope I can install in them through the way I'm interacting with them, through what I'm teaching them, the virus that they want to go out there and achieve something. And achieve something which goes beyond applying the knowledge they have learned in class, but create a venture that will have also an impact on other people's lives.
My next question is something that I always wanted to ask you, because
Yes.
You're always talking about value creation, double-digit growth, that we have to exploit new markets, create new needs. And I'm always wondering, okay, but you also have to think about actually creating value for society, not only creating value in terms of profit. And how do you connect the heart and the brain, the numbers, and something that is good for society? I know it's a naive question, but it's something that
No, it's not at all a naive question. Well, there are several dimensions of a response out to this question. So one of the major responses I have in this is the following. It's in your ability to create value that you will allow society to have lives and they would like to live. Let me be more concrete. Recently was just the World Economic Forum in Davos. And there was Angela Merkel there and saying basically Europe has 7% of world population, Europe has 25% of world GDP, and then she added, well, Europe has 50% of all expenses in social security. Basically implying that this is no longer sustainable. And so if you want to have societies that allow people to have healthcare systems and pension funds and a social taking care of persons that have maybe not been able to achieve professionally financial success, I'm not saying other success, but financial success, if you want to have this kind of society, and this is a kind of society that I want to bring forward, then you need persons that are out there creating through their enterprises, so through their ventures, value that allows society to uphold these principles. So I see one of the responses, one of the dimensions of bringing together what we call this a profit dimension, social dimension, is that in the creation of profit, so in this perception of value creation, you allow society to offer to its citizens the pension systems, the healthcare systems, and other systems of society that allow them to live the ways they live. I don't know whether I have been able to respond partly to this or give partly a justification for why achieving economic profit, which what we teach in our business schools, is also something important, not only on an individual level, but also on a societal level. And then just if I may add one more note, and I also related to this in my talk, is that Howard Schultz, through his enterprise that he created, did not only change the lives of millions now drinking on a daily basis coffee served by the cup by going into Starbucks store and so on, but he also gave jobs to tens of thousands of persons. And so basically, if you're able to create ventures that create value, also economic value, you also create lots of jobs and to do therefore something good to other people's lives.
Yes, it depends where you invest the profit and how you also manage the enterprise that you have. But why don't we never study about this aspect of doing business? Because it's we didn't have adult courses about social responsibility, not in the sense social responsibility is a trend, but it's a part of your, it may not be the leading.
You know, I understand it's a very relevant question that you put forward. I don't want to say that that I want to, in a way, to escape this question, because I don't want at all to escape these questions. I think that in my teachings, and at least I hope so, I tell students, or I share with students the body of knowledge built up in management research on how to launch new products, how to cope with technological innovations, how to create through leveraging technology new markets. And then I hope I also add a more general management perspective to it. And so in a general management perspective, I think very fundamental become those questions about what you have labeled as corporate social responsibility. Because of course there's a stream of research that on corporate social responsibility. This is not what is my daily stream of daily activities. But I hope I contribute to the consciousness of corporations, also in trying to educate people not only on how to launch new products, but how to become general managers. And there it is a fundamental part of it.
Thank you. And how did you find the meaning of meaning?
Well,
at least for preparing yourself for
yes,
the speech.
The meaning of meaning, I don't know how I found it, but I want to give a contribution, and I wanted to tell something about personal growth rather than about corporate growth. I wanted to tell something about the questions that you might ask yourselves and the insights that you might gain from others in your daily lives. Not as professionals, but as human beings. And so I thought that this way of approaching meaning, so saying M stands for meritocracy, E stands for education is action, A stands for aspiration, N stands for nostalgia, I stands for imagination, N stands for novelty, and G stands for growth, personal growth. And there, sharing with you the prayer of San Francesco d'Assisi, is something that can give meaning to personal lives.
Okay, what is the aspiration that drives you?
I'm not saying aspiration, it drives me. What I wanted to say is that aspiration could drive people's lives, not only me. Okay, so and in the examples I gave on aspiration, so basically Ingvar Kamprad from IKEA, or Boris Durisin that founded Netscape and was involved in other ventures and so on. Aspiration wanted to show that as individuals, if you can get it right, I'm not saying everybody will get it right, but if you can get it right, you can profoundly transform the lives, the daily habits, the lives, the routines, but their way of living of millions of persons. And for me, this is aspiration, helping millions of people living their life differently. Then, of course, many of those examples I give, they had also then personal profit from this. But I want to say it's not about personal profit, about being personal success and higher income, but it's also about being able to transform the lives of millions. And this is what I meant when I talked about aspiration.
And last question, I think that you really like the whole process of storytelling. Because you always in class you tell us a story. Why do you think that storytelling is so important?
Because I think in storytelling you start to emphasize, and this is also something that in the prayer of San Francesco d'Assisi, that in giving yourself up and getting in others, that you grow personally. So I think the storytelling allows you to emphasize putting yourselves in the shoes of others, understanding the situation of others, and therefore understanding the challenges that others faced, and so basically letting others to understand a point I want to drive home through being able to emphasize. And this is something that I think it's not only a tool to better communicate the message, but it's also going beyond this. it's a way of people, of helping them, if I may say so, understand how through stories and through storytelling they can reflect on their lives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wish you a nice day.
Thank you very much. The same to you. Thank you.